media world today in the 21st century. They can bring you remote things into your world right now. TV shows about prison you see every night. Any time of the day you can turn it on and watch Lockup. How many of you guys seen that show, Lockup? How many of you guys have a family member in prison? Raise your hand. Well, check this out. If you think you have an idea what me or any of these men up here have been through, you have no clue. Because what we have been through is a pure hell. And I pray to God, none of you have to go through what I've been through. Because what I've been through is straight hell. And I'm not talking about what you see on TV. I'm not talking about anything like that. What I'm talking about is a psychological prison that is more darker, dangerous, and demented than any other prison in this world. See, the way that I see it, prison is 20% physical and 80% psychological. The physical part, I can deal with. I was raised in the streets. I know how to fight. I know how to defend myself. But the psychological aspect, I had to face every morning. Every morning I woke up in a prison cell, I had to ask myself, do you want to live on? Do you want to face another day in this hell? See, it all began for me at the age of 17. 17, same age as some of you guys out there. I was arrested, charged with premeditated murder, and shoved into the back of a police car. Later that day, they gave me a cell. And I remember that cell slamming behind me, shutting me off from the only freedom I had ever known in my life. I remember standing in that cell, pitch black. I remember seeing gunfire flash before my eyes. I remember hearing gunshots ring out in my ears. It was the most horrible pain that I'd ever been through. That guilt fell upon me like a 2,000-pound sledgehammer and crushed me. I remember sitting in that cell all by myself. I remember thinking, it's over. And I cried out. I cried out to God. I remember saying, God, why? Why me? God, why me? You see, but he didn't answer my prayers. He didn't talk to me, he didn't say anything to me. Because what was going to happen was, I was going to start life without parole, and when I got done with that sentence, I was going to start on like the second one in hell. Because what took a mother 16 years to build, mold, and shape, I destroyed in a matter of seconds. Just like that, his life was over. A kid 16 years old. They didn't waste any time sending a guy like me to prison. 3 days after I was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 17 years, they sent me to Fulton Diagnostic Reception Center. It's where you go when you're a new kid or a new prisoner. As soon as I walked in the door, 3 guards accosted me and told me, get naked! Man, get naked, are you crazy? I ain't never been naked in front of another man in my life. I got naked though. Then they shoved me in the cell, or shoved me in the small cell with 40 other men, butt naked. Here I am, a kid. All these are grown men. I ain't got a hair on my body, and here I'm standing there with all these grown men. And they're looking at me like I'm a piece of meat. All I could do was stare at the ground, intimidated, scared to death. This ain't nobody gonna protect you in there. You're on your own. You commit a crime, that's it. I stood in there, that funky, piss-smelling, dirty, stinking cell for at least 2 or 3 hours. They finally called us out, one by one. They took us out to the hallway. They told us, lift your arm, wiggle your tongue, run your hands through your hair. Bend over and cough. Then a guy came up and sprayed us with this spray, this horrible, stinking, burning spray. Sprayed you butt naked with this in your private parts. So you don't bring no crabs into their precious institution. Then they give us a shower for 30 seconds, a towel size of a washcloth, and a jumpsuit 3 times too big for you. Late that night, after a battery of tests, after they poked and prodded on you like he was an animal, after they stripped your name and give it to chief, 518-994. That's what you're named as. They give me a cot in the cell house because the prison was so overflowing that they didn't have no more cells left. So they stuck me in this cot. Here I am, a kid, 17 years old, with all these grown men. Right here in the middle of the prison on the cot. That night, I laid in the cot on my back with my shoes on, gripping a number 2 pencil. Thinking in my head, the first one that tries to step to me, I'm going to stab him in the neck with this pencil. About 30 days later, I wake up at 2 in the morning and look, there's like 20 guards coming in full riot gear and all black. I said, Bowers. I said, yeah. I said, pack your stuff up. You're going with us. They took us 1,200 miles away to the state of Texas. Because the state of Missouri was so overcrowded, they leased us out to another state to house us there. And when we got there, for whatever reason, they hated us. They despised Missouri. And they didn't waste no time showing us. I remember sitting in the room, and all these guards come rushing in like the SWAT team. They're yelling and screaming, dogs are barking, they're snatching people out of their bunks, throwing them on the floor, they're shocking us with stun guns, they're kicking us, the dogs biting people. After that, they made us crawl down the hallway, about from here to the door, military style, butt naked, on a cold floor. Lined us up like cars in the hallway, and they came out and told us we're being charged with riot. A Class D felony in the state of Texas that carries 5 years. Here I was serving a 17-year sentence. There was no way that I could do another 5 years. After that, they turned us around, made us crawl back in the cell house, and then they was waiting for us one by one as we came through the door. I tried to get up, one kicked me, shocked me with a stun gun, knocked me back down to the ground. Then they made me crawl to a bunk and lay in the bunk for 2 hours without no mattress or nothing, in a steel frame, freezing to death, couldn't move. A few months later, that tape, the idiots recorded it, and they got released to the media. They brought us right back to Missouri. Well, they didn't do me no favors by bringing me back to Missouri. This time, they sent me to Missouri State Penitentiary, a.k.a. the Walls, a.k.a. the bloodiest 47 acres in America. Here I am, a kid, going to a maximum security prison that's called the bloodiest 47 acres in America. Because people were stabbed, killed, people's heads chopped off at this prison. It was a notorious prison. And here I am, a kid, going there. I can't begin to tell you how scared I was. I can't begin to tell you what it was like, the fear that was running through me. Now, I grew up in the streets. I didn't fear nothing on the streets, but I feared that place. I remember wanting to go into the cell, slam the door, and hide under the bunk, but I couldn't do that. That wasn't an option for me. I had 17 years to serve in prison. So I couldn't hide, I couldn't run, I couldn't go tell the guard, hey, I'm a kid, I ain't supposed to be here. I'm the youngest one in the prison. Everybody else is 30 plus. I couldn't go tell the guard that, because you know what? The guards can care less. They don't care about your age. They look at it as, you was stupid enough to commit a crime, you put yourself in this position, now do what you gotta do. I remember numerous times things going off in there. I remember one time walking down the catwalks, what they call them, and passing the cells. They had bars. And I remember looking in there, and I remember seeing a pool of blood. Because some guy took a light bulb. They had exposed light bulbs. Took it, busted it, slit his throat open. Because he got a Dear John letter.